There are so many different ways to house and raise tortoises, both indoors and outdoors. Well, it just got easier. Stick around, because I'm gonna show you why. Our friends at Zoo Med just dropped off their brand new reptile product. This is the Easy-Fold Tortoise Yard. This thing is awesome. It is something that everybody has been waiting for a long time. And Zoo Med nailed it. I first got a close look at it at Animal Con when we were just down there in Orlando, Florida. And I knew they were coming to drop one off, but as soon as I saw it, my eyes lit up. I was like, wow, this is literally the fix to the problems that a lot of people are having when it comes to especially housing their tortoises outdoors. So let's open this thing up and let's get a closer look. All right, so the key words here are easy and fold, because this thing folds up in here, and you're supposed to just be able to fold it out. That's it, literally. In seconds, I just unfolded this thing and put it together. Really, all you do is unfold it and just latch this front part. These are the doors here, so you can get easy access, or you can just open up the entire top. And what's awesome about this is you've got a nice section of it that's completely closed in and shaded, which is so important for animals, especially if they're gonna be in the sun. Not only do they just need refuge so that they can de-stress, but you don't want them to burn up in the relentless sun, because even though they're reptiles and they require warmth, the sun's gonna get them quickly. See this? This is why I decided to put this pen right here, and that's because this is clover. This is a wonderful edible for any type of tortoise, and there's even herbivorous lizards that would enjoy this, like rhino iguanas. So let's go grab a tortoise and put it in here, because this thing measures 5 feet by 4 feet once it's opened up. So you're giving the animal around 20 square feet of grazing. I got two little Western Hermann's tortoises right here that are perfect candidates to go in this right now, because the objective behind it is to allow the tortoises to graze on natural edibles. Unlatch the doors, and in go the tortoises. Here you go, ladies. Have some clover. So the main objective behind what I'm gonna be using it for is to allow the tortoise grazing. Let's face it, no matter how well you decorate a pen or how natural you let it turn, it's still going to lose the vast majority of the ground vegetation, because the tortoises are gonna eat it. So whether it's clover or vetch, cat's ear, thistle, all those awesome weeds that tortoises love to eat and that's really good for them, they're gonna mow it down in no time. Take that from somebody who's been doing this for 3 decades now. There's no way to keep a pen looking that lush. Beyond spring, the tortoises eat it all, even when you regularly offer them food on top of that. So what's awesome about this is you can continuously move it around and give the tortoises brand new areas to graze. Fresh vegetation that comes up out of the ground that the tortoises can have constant access to, as long as you move this thing to different areas. And then when you're done with it, you could put the tortoises back in. You could do it every day, you could do it every other day, you could do it a couple times a week, or you could just do it when you have time. That's the wonderful thing about this. But there are other uses for this too. You could set this up permanently, because right now, as you can see, it lays right on the ground. There's nothing going into the ground. You can use stakes to secure it better to the ground, but tortoises, most of them can dig really well. So if you turn your back on them for a prolonged period of time, they could potentially get out of this thing. You could build a base and secure this to the base and have the base be the permanent aspect of the pen, which then makes this become permanent. And guess what you just did? You fully protected your animals from any kind of predation, which means you could even put little hatchlings in this thing, because the mesh holes are small enough to where no hatchling tortoise would be able to fit out of this. And I'm even talking about some of the world's smallest species, like baby Egyptian tortoises. Even they would still be too big to fit through these holes. All right, so let's say we just gave our Western Hermann's several hours to graze here. Let's put them back in their permanent pen, and we'll go pick somebody else and move this to a different area. So now we're in a nice shaded area with the same kind of edible vegetation, but I'm gonna pick a different kind of tortoise for the shaded area, one that is entirely colored black and would have a hard time being in the beaten sun all day. These tortoises might seem pretty big to you guys, but they are in fact just babies. This is Jack and Sally, who you've seen on our channel in many videos. They are our young Galapagos tortoises, and they're only 2 years old. So they have a lot more growing to do, and proper diet is so crucial for them. So while they get a lot here in the pen that they live in, it's great to give them some designated grazing time, and the Zoo Med Tortoise Yard offers them just that. So the Galapagos tortoises have left behind some poop, and that's great. It brings up an interesting point. You can learn a lot about the health of an animal by taking a look at its poop. So veterinary practices and zoos would really make a smart decision by investing in one of these, because they can isolate animals and collect fecal samples that way, or just simply pay close attention to the health of an animal. Quarantine is a big deal, so a brand new animal that can't go into an existing group can find refuge in one of these and be stress-free, and you can collect fecal samples that way. But you don't have to be a vet or a zoo to do it. If you're a private keeper and you need to take a close look at an animal, use one of these, collect your own fecal sample, and bring it into your veterinarian if they need to check for parasites or other things. You don't always have to just use small tortoises for this too. You could take a good sized animal and let it have its own private grazing time in this, and I'm gonna grab an example right now. All right, you two. So that bigger radiated tortoise has been bullying this one a little bit, so let's just give her some space. Let's go bring her over there, let her relax for a little bit, and this way she doesn't have to be bothered by this little bully down here. Aggression can be a serious problem with tortoises, but let me tell you that combat in both males and females is very normal. More often than not, people tend to get so freaked out when they see their tortoises biting each other, ramming each other, mounting each other, or just simply pushing each other around. It's normal. These are primitive animals. They know what they're doing, and in fact, combat, especially in males, is very important for their annual cycle. So having a big enough pen to allow the animals chances to get away from each other whenever they want is a big deal, but having something like this can aid you even further, because you can just simply isolate an animal for a little bit, give it a break, or you can isolate the aggressor so that that animal gets a little bit of a break. This thing is great. It serves many purposes, and as I said, you don't have to just keep tortoises in it. You could use it for box turtles if you need to give them some time outdoors or time away from each other. You can use it for lizards. You can use it for poultry. What's awesome about it too is it folds up, so that means it is easy to store. You could throw this up on a shelf because honestly it's pretty lightweight for how big it is, or store it somewhere else. The point is you don't have to look at it when you're not using it, but you could set it up indoors permanently. If you have a reptile room, a basement, or an attic that you dedicate to the animals, you could easily set this thing up on a permanent base to where the animals have everything they need indoors, because maybe you have a cat or a dog that's problematic. We don't have to worry about Gil and Angus. They've been trained and raised around these animals to know that they're here to protect them. But some people don't have it that good with their animals, and they might try to chew or make a meal out of a tortoise. So this would be great to use indoors to keep a cat or dog out, or children. Maybe you don't want your children picking these animals up. This way, you can keep them out. I'm sure there's a way you could figure out how to lock it. One other thing worth noting, you can use this for outreach programs. Casey and I love doing educational presentations with live animals at different locations to teach audiences of all ages about the importance of reptiles and amphibians in our world. Well, this is a great way to set up an animal that it can be stress-free and easily viewed by the public without having to be handled. In New Jersey, we're a no-contact state, so when we do presentations, you're not allowed to touch the animals anyway. But even if you were, sometimes it's better for the animal for it to be fully enclosed so that it can't be bothered more than it already is being bothered by being there. This is another way that you can use this wonderful tortoise yard. So that is the Easy-Fold Zoo Med Tortoise Yard. I love this thing. It's fantastic. It smells amazing. And make sure you pick yours up today. I'm going to leave a link in the description so you guys can easily find this product. And I promise you, you are going to be super stoked and happy to use it.